what prompted you to start podcasting? Like, were you into content before? Like, I mean, because when I met you and you walked in, you were pretty established. You have multiple pods now. You don't just have one. So
Five.
Five.
Five, yeah.
What started this, man? Why?
So a few things. I think probably a number of them, three. The first one was at that time, I wanted to exercise speaking, public speaking. And then if you've never done public speaking, it's not like, people break down your door inviting you to speak publicly. So those opportunities are very limited. Mm-hmm. And then I thought, well, the closest thing to public speaking would be like getting invited to a podcast, because you talk to the host, and then they record you and they put you out on the internet, and maybe there's hundreds of thousands of people that see that content. So that's close enough to public speaking. But I said, those are also limited. Mm-hmm. There's only so many podcasts, period. And then if I'm talking about in my circle, multifamily, they're not that many. They seem like many, but, you do like 20, 30 podcasts, you're kind of done with the entire space. So I said, well, how about if I start my own? That was the next thought. So I could accelerate this, because, when it's your own, like you just turn the, you could do like solo. You just flip the switch, like you just flip the switch.
And we're here.
And just go.
Yeah.
And you're like, you could go live, you could do many things with it. So that was one reason. Second reason is someone, a connection of mine on LinkedIn, wrote a post. This was over a weekend. And he said in a post, hey, if you know of someone, or you think that you have a great story, personal story, your story, has something that people will want to hear, reach out to me, because I would love to be able to be the one telling your story. So I commented, I said, I have no idea if my story is in any way interesting, but I'd love to talk to you about it. So he reached out via DM, and that was, and I went to his podcast. And then after the podcast said, man, you have such a great story. You should probably consider having your own podcast. Okay. So that was number two. Number three was, I was looking in our space at the time. This is 5-ish years ago in a multifamily. And I realized there's a void of conversations and thought leadership and information, valuable information for people that are in a space to help themselves, to improve themselves, to be better. I'm going to explain. The industry is structured this way. You have several industry conferences, right? Mm-hmm. But then there's a very reduced percentage of people in an industry to participate to those. I don't know, maybe less than 5%. So then if you're not in a room, you're not part of the conversation. Mm-hmm. Most of the conferences do not record anything.
Really?
Yeah, they don't. So there's a lot of great content that's just dying. It's literally dying. Like you have the presenters, they speak for 30 minutes, an hour, and that's it. It dies right there, which is, it's a shame. Thousands of hours of content being wasted. So if you're not in that room, you don't get to participate or to be exposed. Companies have company-wide events where people at the site level, at the property level get invited. They're typically, once a quarter, 2-3 times a year, no more than that. There's nothing in between other than an email, other than an assignment. You got to take this, you're not building culture that way, and you're not bringing value to your employees that way. So given this situation, I'm thinking, okay, well, we could create content. I could invite people that have interesting things to say, smart things to say. They have been there, have done that, to bring them to my podcast, ask them questions, and then we put a content out there for those that typically would never have access to that particular individual to actually have a similar experience with the one that I had as a host. So that's what made me start. This was about 4 years ago.
So within 4 years, you started with just the one.
I started with a one, and the first one I started was with a free Zoom account. So I had to, make sure, and doing it on my laptop, I had to make sure that I'm only keeping it up less than 40 minutes because that's all the free Zoom account gives you. If you want more than 40 minutes, you got to get the paid. I upgraded to the paid one 6 months or something, but that was it. I knew I had 40 minutes. I had to keep it under 40 minutes and just recorded it on my, and zero editing. Like literally I would take the Zoom call, upload it on YouTube, and that was my entire podcast.
It's funny. We talk with a lot of people, and we see the gamut. We talk to some people like you that are very seasoned, some people that have close to 1 million followers, and then we'll speak with people that are just starting out, right? And what we try to tell every single person, because a lot of people they'll go and they'll just be so paralyzed by the process of doing it. Right. So they'll try to prep so much or get teachers or, get all that, which is all great. I'm not saying anything that's bad about anything, but eventually you just got to start talking into the mic, right? Whether it's the free 40-minute version or whatever it is, we call it spitting. Unless you're spitting at the mic, you're not doing anything, right? Like,
Sure.
And it's wonderful to hear you just go, I just did it, right? I just started doing it. They said to me, if I'm going to do this, and it's like, hey, I got the free trial and I did it. And then eventually you upgraded. Now you recommend all the time people shoot in studios, and you could see your arc, right, of how far it's come so quick. And it's pretty unbelievable. Like, I'm so happy we're able to have you on as our first, because I think you really do. When we think about people that really embody podcasting and using it for their business, which we haven't even gotten into yet, which is the main thing, it's unbelievable. And like I said, man, you take it, and hearing that story, people out there, please, if you have any ideas about doing this or whatever it is, just do it. Do it. Start with your, like Adrian said, go in, use your computer, you get a basic free program, put it up, don't even worry about editing, and go. It'll be the worst episode you'll ever do. And everything from that will be better, right? I tell that people all the time. Your first one's the worst. And after that, it will be better.
You're absolutely right. It only goes up from there. And it's like, look, it's like building muscle. It really is. I'm over 200 episodes in.
Wow.
And the more I do it, and with everything that's happening, outside of what I'm doing, how YouTube changes and so many things. I'm a young student of the game. Really, I don't see myself as being super settled. There's so much to learn. I learn every single day.